Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jay Malone, and today I have a quick tip for you to help you take better portraits. If you're new here, start off by hitting that subscribe button. That way you won't miss my next upload. I have an announcement coming during next week's quick tip, and you don't want to miss it. So make sure and hit subscribe. People are always photographing other people. And in case you didn't know it, those pictures are actually called portraits. As a portrait photographer, I take a lot of pictures of people. Sometimes we do them in a studio environment, sometimes they are sessions outdoors. They have one thing in common. I always want to capture the most engaging photo that I can of the people. It's not always about the surroundings. I also see on Facebook and other social media sites where parents are always photographing their own children. Sometimes there's something that I think could be improved on, and today's quick tip will probably help you take better portraits of your own kids. The tip is to use a shallow depth of field. Some people know this as a blurry background. What this does is draws more attention. It draws focus to the individual. The background falls out of focus, therefore you're more engaged with the individual. Do me a favor and leave me a comment down below. Do you photograph portraits? What ages do you photograph? Do you photograph just kids, high school seniors, or do you photograph older people? What age category do you photograph the most? So how do you achieve this shallow depth of field or this out of focus background? First off, if your camera has the capabilities of going into manual mode is a great way to photograph. With manual mode, you can control your ISO, your shutter, your aperture. There's a lot of things that you can control, and we may get into that more in a different segment or a different series. But today we're going to talk about your aperture. The aperture is some people known as an F number, and that's what you want to control to get that shallow depth of field. Okay, I know we could get in a lot of technical stuff about the smaller the F number, the larger the aperture, and yeah, that's all for another time, but basically keep this in mind. If you go with the lowest number possible, that'll give you the least amount in focus. And that's kind of what you want for these portraits, especially for one individual. You want the lowest number possible. I use Canon professional lenses, and that's what is on this camera here. That's what I use for my portraits. And the lenses that I have, most of them are set to where they can stay at f2.8. That's a very shallow depth of field. If you don't have manual mode, maybe you can at least have a portrait mode or an aperture priority mode. If you select that mode on your camera and then choose that low F number or that large aperture, like say f2.8, then you will get very shallow depth of field on subjects. Especially one individual, the f2.8 is great. Here's a tip inside of a tip. If you're photographing a large group of people, you don't want to shoot on f2.8 because someone is going to be out of focus. Now, let me show you some examples really quick. All right, for these shots, I set my camera on aperture priority mode, and the first one I shot was at f16. As you can see, there's still a lot of the background that is in focus. It's not a bad image, but it's really not eye-catching, not engaging for the individual. All right, let's lower the aperture number now down to f8 and check out this. You see now that there is less that is in focus, but it still does not have that portrait look. Let's go on down a little bit farther. How about f5.6? As you can see here, there is less and less in focus as we lower our F number. But I think we can take it a step farther. How about let's lower it down to f2.8. Check that out. Now it looks like a portrait. It's much more engaging. You see a lot less distraction in the background and your eyes are drawn to the individual. Now let's compare them both side by side. Here we have f16 on the left and f2.8 on the right. You tell me which one is the better portrait. And that's pretty much it for this week's quick tip. If you enjoyed it, please hit that thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to leave me the comment below and let me know what ages that you photograph. If you don't want to miss next week's quick tip, please hit that subscribe button. Then check the little bell icon next to it. That way you'll be notified as soon as the video is released. Thanks for liking, thanks for commenting, and thanks for subscribing. And until next time, God bless.